Hey, what's happening, guys? Welcome back. Today I got another video. This one's kind of crazy and pretty excited that I was able to do this, but I've done an interview with Edgar Burrs from HashFlare. He's the business development and relations manager at HashFlare. So this is pretty exciting, and I've got basically a 45-minute interview. I might cut some things out and leave a bunch of stuff in, but let's check this out. It's pretty cool, so let's get right into it. Everybody, this is Edgar. I guess if you want to just like introduce yourself and you know, tell yourself like what your role is at HashFlare or Hashcoins, so go for it.
Right, so I'm Edgar. I'm part of the Hashcoins team. HashFlare, the cloud mining platform, is one of our products. What we do is we create software, we create solutions for businesses. We create blockchains and cryptocurrencies for businesses. We do a lot of stuff, mostly related to security, to communications. HashFlare was among our first projects. It's when we decided that we started as developers of hardware back in 2013. Back then we understood that this business sucks because, whenever you try to ship hardware to someone else, there's just a big list of logistics issues, problems with delivery, hardware getting damaged during delivery, sometimes not getting delivered at all. So, and we are living in this post.com era. Everything is online. So we decided that we should also start a cloud mining business, and it's running for more than 4 years now. And my role in the project. Well, I deal with business development, with communications, so I cover conferences, presentations, work with investors, with basically with people who want to make a large order, but they need to be more certain about everything. So I usually come out to speak to them, to explain them how everything works and how to make profit with HashFlare if you wish.
Okay, great. So I guess another question I had was, you know, like, I guess you sort of already covered this, so I was going to say something like, you know, what were some of the challenges in the beginning with, you know, HashFlare, and if those challenges still exist, and if there's any new challenges being developed, you know, on a daily basis.
Yeah, I get it. The funny thing is we are facing challenges every day here. Because the first thing first, HashFlare was designed in 2014, and back then we didn't even expect to have so much users as we have now. We didn't even expect such a big amount of traffic and interest over the whole thing. Well, back then nobody knew what would Bitcoin be in future because, I didn't buy like hundreds of Bitcoins for no price. I didn't really expect it to happen as it happened.
Yeah.
So right now the main issue is that the interest is the main issue. The more people get in, the harder it is to maintain the whole thing. In the beginning of the year, we had 3 people in our support department. Now we have 10. And we are hiring because we need even more people, and that's just one piece of the whole thing. Another part is the website itself. We have to now reallocate the server parts. We have to think of how to make it possible for more people to stay online on the website at the same time. So a lot of development work happening right now, a lot of support happening right now. These are probably the main issues. When it comes to regulators, for example, a lot of people ask how the regulators talk to us. Well, what do they think about the whole thing? Do they like it? Do they prohibit it? Do they promote it? For example, you know, in Russia, they have a new. The main challenge in Russia is that you never know what happens in Russia. One day, Prime Minister says that Bitcoin should be legal. They won't touch mining. The next day, you hear that mining might become illegal. Third day, you hear that the mining will be taxed. So you never really know. But since we run our business from Estonia, so European Union, we are really soft here in terms of regulations, in terms of everything. So it's easy for us. And the biggest issue is, of course, the infrastructure part.
Okay. So I guess you mentioned how the user base has increased dramatically. So prior to, I guess, this whole Bitcoin spike in price, like, can you say how many users were on your website versus what it is now, or like a ballpark?
Well, we had. oh, you may need to find some information online because I have a number in my head. If you roll back in time, back to when Hash Ocean was a scam service. It was a Ponzi scheme called Hash Ocean. They had 800,000 users when they closed, when they scammed and disappeared. Back then, we had no more than 300,000 users. So it was probably a year ago or something like that. So, in fact, in just the last couple of months, we got more traffic than in the last couple of years.
Okay.
So you can just compare the sizes. And I think that even now, even the last time I've checked with the stat, we had just over 1 million of users. It was like a month ago. I think it's like over 1.3 now million users.
Wow.
So yeah, it's growing really fast, faster than we really imagined.
So I guess another question I had relating to that topic is like, are you able to scale? Are you able to scale with the amount of users that are, that a massive influx of new users coming in every day? Do you see a point where you might have to take a break and not allow new people to get in and buy hashes to upgrade your servers or whatever else you need?
Well, what we try to do here is we are building the plane while it flies. So we are trying not to switch something off to work on something. We never allow ourselves to disable the service for more than like 24 hours because users start to panic because they think that, oh no, the website is down. They have gone to some islands with my money, and yeah, we got a lot of hate for that. So for every maintenance, especially if we didn't warn in advance, I gotta admit, I mean, hard times are coming every time we do a mistake. So no, we try not to disable anything, but just recently, maybe a couple of months ago, we had to stop selling SHA 256 contracts before we ran out of hardware. Now we're fully equipped with it, but now Dash mining is disabled. And well, it will happen in future. Sometimes what usually stops us, and not just us, but also other services like Genesis or whatever, is actually hardware. So the more people are there, the less hardware there is in the market. The more difficult it is to accommodate everyone. But well, you can play with prices here. You can I mean, there are different ways to make this happen.
Yeah. Like right now, if I wanted to, I can go in and buy 100 terahashes or even more, I guess. And then you have people like Crypto Nick. I'm sure you know who that is on YouTube, possibly. I don't know, maybe not. But he shows off his YouTube channel and he has like 2,000 terahashes. And I guess people are thinking like, when do the hashes run out? So can you share what the total hash power is of HashFlare or?
I, to be honest, I have no idea because it's increasing on an almost daily basis. I mean, we have agreements with the biggest vendors out there to make sure that we get new hardware faster than we manage to sell it. So we
Okay.
are able to mine for ourselves as well. And that's the first thing. Another one is I think that in the current market situation, the hash power is practically unlimited. It will be increasing for as long as Bitcoin price is rising. Because just recently we have seen about 10 times more hardware vendors that there have been in the market a year ago when we were going, for example, last year when we were coming to conferences, the only companies you would see them is either Bitmain or the one that developed the S9 and miner, and Bitfury that work on the kind of same hardware. Now, when you come to a conference, there's like a dozen of different vendors. They all of them assemble their own miners. Some of them are bad, some of them are worse. Some of them are, well, somewhat good, but not as good as the big Chinese companies like Bitmain, obviously. But for example, there's this Halong Mining that have stated that they've developed the best miner in the world.
Yeah.
We haven't seen it, we haven't tested it yet, so I can't say anything about it. There are other vendors like Inna Silicon. Their hardware is kind of inferior compared to others. So what we do here in Hashcoins, in HashFlare, we actually try to order hardware from all the vendors that there are in the world. We test them, we try to compare them to fit as much good models in our data centers and to lose as many useless ones out as possible. But what's out there in the market right now is that it's like booming. We thought it was booming, it was blooming 2 years ago. A year ago, we got surprised. We thought that that's the maximum. Now we are surprised again, and we just cannot expect what will happen next year. I have no idea.
Like, I mean, do you see the Bitcoin price going up like more, or like, just, you don't have to go into detail, but I mean, do you have an idea on just personally what you think might happen?
Have you heard of the Bitfinex and Tether scandal?
No. No.
Well, that's one of the things you should take into account, especially the fact that you haven't heard about it, and a lot of people haven't heard of it. Make a research. I think your channel would also like to see that. It's Bitfinex and Tether, the USDT. So basically, it's the same people behind two projects, and there have been 600 million USDT printed, sent over to Bitfinex, used to buy bitcoins using a leverage. But there was no dollars that were put behind this USDT, so it's like a bubble here. You need to check it out, and when you speculate about what can the price be, you also need to take into account what can happen. I mean, what negativity would happen. Yes.
Yeah.
So it might happen that in 2018, for example, before June 2018, we'll see a collapse of the Bitcoin price, and closer to the end of 2018, we'll see another explosion up to, I don't know, 40 grand, 50 grand. It may happen, but you can never, well, there are different speculations. Some say 100K, others say it's like 400 grand. Some say we're going to be $1 million. Maybe one day, maybe 2020, 2025, you'll see $1 million worth of it. But before that happens, I think that we first need to get closer to the 40 or 50 grand than 100 grand, because these are also these psychological levels that you have to break through. But I also have big faith in Ethereum. It's it's a really decent project. But what I personally dislike right now is the Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin Gold, Platinum, whatever, Unlimited, Classic, the Bitcoin Forex, because these are basically different shitcoins that have taken the Bitcoin name to cover themselves, saying that, oh, now look, we're not just another coin, we're a Bitcoin, but not really Bitcoin, but still Bitcoin, because it's in our name. You've seen people that have no affiliation with the Bitcoin core development, who bought the Bitcoin.com domain, and now using this name, they speculate, they invest in the Bitcoin Cash. Roger Ver himself, other people, the Chinese, I don't know if you've heard, but Bitmain, right now we are trying to freeze our cooperation with Bitmain in favor of other vendors, because Bitmain sells their hardware for Bitcoin Cash only. So they try to artificially stimulate the Bitcoin Cash prices. That's what can cause another collapse, because you never know. The funds are allocated within single hands. If you check the Bitcoin distribution right now, it's available online, the 100 richest Bitcoin wallets, you'll see that 85% of all Bitcoins are on less than 0.6% of wallets. Less than 1% of wallets holds 96% of Bitcoins.
Huh. Wow.
So when you try to speculate and think of what could price be, well,
you can't really say. I mean, you can't really say. So yeah, you were mentioning like Bitmain and the Antminer. Yesterday they went on sale again, and everybody was pissed off because the prices went up over $1,000. Yeah, it's close to $3,000 now. But Bitcoin Cash, you have to pay with Bitcoin Cash, and I think they're sold out now. I didn't double check, but somebody said they were sold out. You can't get them anymore again. So that just brings me back to you guys on HashFlare yesterday. I think you guys also increased your prices on your website. So you were $150 per terahash, now $220. So I guess, does that have something to do with the Bitcoin price increasing, or like, can you maybe break that down a little bit?
Well, it has to do with both the Bitcoin price increasing, the demand increasing, and the supply decreasing, because as you know, well, the supply is getting shorter and shorter because the demand is increasing. The supply, practically the supply stays the same when we talk about wholesale, because, for example, big vendors like Bitmain can offer, for example, ship you a batch for like $10 million. Smaller companies don't have that amount of manufacturing, so they cannot just ship you that much. So in order to get the same size batch of hardware, you have to work with 10 different vendors at once. And they also see that the prices are increasing. They also see that once unknown, now in high demand hardware from like no-name vendors is also short in the market. So they also increase the price. Everyone increases the prices. So if we don't, we will start losing. So that's basically the only logic behind it.
With cash out, I guess you guys just enabled that today, right? But minimum 0.2 Bitcoin, I think it was.
So right now we enabled withdrawals just for testing. I mean, we had an issue with Block.io. I can also cover this point.
Actually, yeah, that's a good idea.
Because I'll explain in short how it works in our site. We have like, for example, we have a data center of miners. All miners are allocated to pools that are mining Bitcoins. The Bitcoins are not sent directly to HashFlare user accounts. They're first sent to our wallets, because they're initially centralized in receiving. Then these accounts are interconnected with the system to understand how much each user have earned accordingly to the amount of hash rate purchased. Then this money is sent to the balance, and when you want to take the money out of the balance to your wallet, there is another gateway that gets a request from us to send an invoice to a specific wallet, which is then updated within our system, which is approved within a system. The money is sent to Block.io, the gateway that does the whole thing, and the Block.io then processes the transaction and sends it to the Bitcoin network. So it's like a middleman between us and the Bitcoin blockchain, and this middleman works on actual processing. It takes requests, it processes it, and converts into transactions, takes money, sends money. They have issues right now because, everyone does. Every wallet, every exchange, and that's also a reason why Bitcoin Cash is getting popular right now, because the Bitcoin network is struggling, and we are like on the end side of it. So if something struggles in the beginning of the line, in the end of the line, we get problems. So yeah, we have enabled these withdrawals with higher commissions and for higher orders, because we don't want people who just, for example, own $2 worth of hash rate. Obviously, their daily payout is not as big as current Bitcoin network transaction fees. I mean, $10 per transaction is quite a lot, and you can't get $10 out of $2 investment.
No.
So we have to cut smaller withdrawals out of the loop for now, until the network is alright, until the transactions are cheap again. We honestly don't know when it will happen. It may happen. We hope it will happen before the end of the year. It's up to actually the Bitcoin core team to fix the issue. But once it happens, we will enable withdrawals for smaller transactions as well. But the reason why we enabled it anyway is because in our system, you've probably seen we have this affiliate program. This affiliate program allows not just people to invite their friends, but there are whole agencies that have people employed who offer the services across their channels for commission. And they have to pay their employees from these commissions. So their withdrawals are usually higher than 0.2 BTC. So we have to give them a tool to work because it's business. It's not just like you throw some money to the platform and you just take out cash sometimes, like a hobby. It's their business. So we have to adapt for them. But as I've said, we hope that it will be solved in future. I hope hopefully sooner than later, but we are still tied to the Bitcoin network and the way they handle transaction cost and speed.
Yeah, no, I totally understand. Yeah, it's totally backed up right now. I think there was like, what, 300,000 unconfirmed transactions or something crazy, and they've been sitting there for a while.
Same is happening to Ethereum. We have another project run by Hashcoins. It's our Polybius payment institution. It's more related to financial world. However, we have these Polybius tokens, which are basically a byproduct of Ethereum smart contracts. But maybe you've heard of the CryptoKitties.
Yeah.
So just a game, a kitty collection game on Ethereum. It collapsed the network. People cannot send their Polybius tokens, and other ICO tokens. There's plenty of them. All of them are now delayed. They are not getting through. Every company, every service that we are friends with, that we speak occasionally speak to, that have a big customer base, everyone is trying right now because, there's a lot of users who cannot wait, for example, for a couple of hours, and they start creating a ticker after a ticket after a ticket, just crying that their transaction is not coming through, and somebody has to do something about it, but nobody can do anything about it because there are CryptoKitties. They're just collapsing the network, and the Ethereum Foundation team. There's also what happens? What the hell is happening? The Bitcoin team is the same, and what would happen when the Bitcoin price would reach 100 grand?
Yeah. How long would it take to receive? What would happen? I mean, I don't know. Nobody's ever going to get any of their transactions.
Right now, I don't even know how trading is now happening in Bitcoin. Just imagine, over 3 hours for a transaction to be confirmed if you want to trade on an exchange. If you, for example, use a classical hedge fund, traders tools, transactions are completed within seconds, and here hours.
Yeah, it's totally, it's not really too efficient. It used to be, but now so many people are making transactions that it's making it harder.
But it still doesn't mean that Bitcoin Cash is good. Don't fall in for the bait. Because I don't know, for how long have you been into the cryptocurrency business?
Well, I heard about it back in 2012 or so, but didn't really understand it and kind of brushed it aside. 2015, got back into it again, but kind of brushed it aside again. And now, let's say about a month ago, I bought my first miner. I was like, screw it, I'm doing it this time. And then that's about a month ago. So I'm doing both Bitcoin and also Ethereum.
Because 2 years ago, there was this project called the Bitcoin Classic, a fancy name, and the project was created and supported by one of the Bitcoin core developers. His name was Mike Hearn, if I'm not mistaken. 2 years ago, he came out saying that, Bitcoin block size of 1 megabyte is bad, the network is struggling, the transactions are slow and expensive. So what's happening today happened 2 years ago, and he suggested that the best way to solve the issue is to increase the block size to 2 megabytes. Well, I've been talking to other people, like John Mattoni is one of the founding directors of Bitcoin Foundation, and some other people from the Bitcoin Foundation regarding this matter and their opinion on, will the increase of block size really help does it really bring the value that's needed for Bitcoin to work as a payment method? Well, their answer is basically the following. So right, we increased the block size to 2 megabytes today. What should we do in a month? Increase it to 4 megabytes, right? In a year to 8 megabytes, right? It's not a solution. It's just a postpone of solution, but it's not a solution. You need to do something else, something completely different. So that's why I think, and many technical guys from the Bitcoin area that I communicate with, they have more faith in Bitcoin team, and Bitcoin being more reliable and stable in the future with development progression, rather than running behind the hype train of Bitcoin Cash, then Bitcoin Gold, then Bitcoin Platinum, then Bitcoin whatsoever, Bitcoin Quantum. I'm sure that this will happen in the future. You can just make a list of name predictions, like this prediction bingo, and if you win, I don't know, big game for that on blockchain and Ethereum, just like CryptoKitties, you'll earn $1 million on that. I'm more than sure.
Nice. And one of the things was, like, I was wondering if there was a possible way, maybe not now, probably not possible, but if you can share like a video tour or like a short little clip of something, like of like what kind of hardware you guys are using or whatnot.
Have you seen their Instagram?
Yeah, I have.
So there is a couple of photos.
So on Hashcoins, right? On HashFlare too. Okay.
Yeah, you can even see me. There are some photos of us assembling our first Ethereum farm here in Tallinn, in Estonia. There is a photo of me laying on the ground with video cards. There's like plenty of video cards, me lying on them. But you probably want something bigger, something better. And there is a thing we plan to do in the future, this winter. We haven't yet gone quite public about it because we are still working on logistics. But right now, we are moving a lot of hardware to a new data center in Iceland. And we are planning to make a big movie on how we create the whole thing from scratch, how do we configure it, how we assemble it.
Okay.
We will have a movie, like a great movie coming maybe in a couple of months. So you get what you're asking for, but not...
Sorry, so did you start filming that already? Like, did that process start, or...?
No. The camera team, no. There are no cameras yet because, as I said, we are working on logistics because you need to move a lot from China to Iceland, from other parts of Europe, from Germany to Iceland again. Plus, we have some interesting deals outside of Iceland because did you know that there are countries in this world where electricity could cost less than $1 cent per kilowatt? And that's not China.
You saying 1 cent, 1 penny per kilowatt hour, or
less?
Less than 1 penny.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. So we are trying to follow this. I mean, the thing is that this offer came to us after we already signed a deal with a data center in Iceland. So we are like trying to think of what we do next. Do we go to Iceland? Do we share hardware? What do we do next? So that makes a small delay, well, about a couple of weeks maybe. But yeah, I think that late January, maybe February, we'll have the movie out. Plus, we are redesigning HashFlare. There will be the HashFlare 2.0. We'll soon have some publications about it, and articles about it, about the team behind it, because, well, a lot of things are happening on the background, and we actually know what people think, what people say about the speculations, about the trust issues that people are worried whether we are fake or not, about our hardware, about everything. We know what people are saying, so we want to make everyone happy. So yeah, we'll do our best to show that we're legit, show our hardware, show how we work. Because right now you can practically visit us in Tallinn in our office. We can get you to some for example, we have a small farm here in Tallinn, just around an hour of driving out from office. We can get there if we have, for example, agree on that prior to your visit, because, well, we have all other commitments to do. But we can show things, we can show the office, the people, the mining hardware. If you wish, just come to us.
Okay. Yeah. So you mentioned the video. You want to do like a movie or video. So as soon as you said that, I kind of got an idea. So I also create like virtual reality videos. I'm sure you saw you wear a headset, you like look around, or you could use your phone and pan around. So if you need some help to shoot a virtual reality video, I'll come out there and help you guys out. I just throw it out there. I mean, it's obviously not necessary. What was that?
Where are you based?
I'm in the United States, so like close to New York, New Jersey.
Close to New York, DC, you mean?
South of New York, so it's New Jersey, basically.
Well, it's East Coast.
Yes, yeah, East Coast.
Yes, I mean, if you were born on the West Coast, it would be harder to get to Iceland anyway. But right, I got what you're heading. You have the equipment?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's what I do also on the side as well. That's what I still do, I guess, like freelance work and also for my YouTube channel. Yeah.
I have a question. Is it possible to create a 3D virtual reality constantly working webcam to install into the mining facility?
Yeah.
For everyone to just log in and just...
Yeah, of course.
It sounds interesting, actually. Because what we ultimately wanted to do, we wanted to install this... well, you've probably seen this thing. It's like a line with the screen that with text running on it. You can just write something and the text appears and just goes through this line through this tiny and narrow and this long screen.
Yeah.
And you want to use the same one in the system. So, for example, if you want to check whether this is a real mining facility,
okay.
You can pay like some satoshis, send the message, and see it live on the screen in our data center.
Yeah, I got you. Okay. Yeah, it's a good idea.
So if we combine it with virtual reality and Pokemon Go, it will be really fun.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so I mean we're getting pretty close here. So maybe this is a possibility. So got a ton of somehow I did one video on HashFlare, and I was able to accumulate a bunch of people to sign up under me and get a decent amount of referral commissions. So I was wondering, would something be possible to do like a discount code to share, or are you going to be releasing your own discount code like during Christmas or maybe for the new year, or no discount codes at all?
A little some insight here, some inside information. So we actually don't know if you want to make Christmas or New Year's campaign, because there is too much people coming to HashFlare right now. Because of the service stability, we cannot allow ourselves to sell more to more people, because if more people come to our platform at the same time, it goes down. So if you manage to reallocate the parts of the infrastructure before the end of the year, we may launch some discounts. But as for now, at this exact moment of time, I can't really give any positive information, any discounts for now. But maybe it may happen in future as the system, the infrastructure is upgraded.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, you're in control of that. Like, it's just a question, so it would be nice. But hopefully in the future, that'd be cool to do. So I guess we might have already talked about this, but this is probably going to be the last question. But like, where do you see like HashFlare going in 2018? Like, I know you mentioned 2.0 you want to do for HashFlare, and all the upgrades. But is there something else maybe that you didn't touch on, or expanding into different areas in cryptocurrencies, or maybe not even related to cryptocurrencies? Maybe.
When it comes to HashFlare, you see, for us, HashFlare is just a system like, renting, for example, renting a server for your, I don't know, for a game server or whatever. You just have some piece of equipment, stay in some data center, and just rent the hashes, the power.
Yeah, the CPU power or hard drive space.
Yeah, exactly. So our approach is the same when it comes to mining equipment. We want to expand the the amount of tools. So, for example, you buy this SHA 256 mining contract, but you don't want to mine bitcoins with it. You want to mine Bitcoin Cash. I don't know why not. I mean, maybe we think that Bitcoin Cash is scam. Maybe you still want to mine it. It's up to you. It's your choice. It's still your equipment for the time being. Then why wouldn't we allow you to do that? That's one of the options we're thinking right now. Another thing is there is a lot of interest from people who want to resell the services for the commission fee. So we're also creating this white label platform. We're also creating APIs, so you could create like multi-level platforms. For example, take many different cloud mining platforms like Genesis or HashFlare. Take their APIs, combine it within single platforms to monitor statistics, to hedge your funds among different services if you want to. That's another option. So as far as HashFlare is concerned, when we talk about scalability, we mean addition of new tools, addition of new options and possibilities for users. As for Hashcoins as a business running it, well, here we are more focused on creating more security solutions, more secure solutions for the financial market, and the the trend of 2018 among businesses will be the data protection, especially in Europe, and the KYC. There's a cryptocurrency, the expansion of cryptocurrency market not created, but highlighted one of the major issues that's happening right now in the market, that you don't really know who is the person behind the screen, who are you talking to, who's selling you something or buying something from you. And there are some digital tools of identification, but they lack technology, they lack user comfort. So yeah, we're focused on that mostly. As far as cryptocurrency in general is concerned, if you're talking about what will happen with the market itself, besides the technology required for businesses to operate in cryptocurrency, well, I personally expect to see more regulations coming. I personally expect European Union creating more regulations and rolling out new statements on what's cryptocurrency, what's Bitcoin in the first place, what's Ethereum. I also see Ethereum price rising way above that one grand, because you've heard of the Ethereum Enterprise Alliance or Association. It's a group of companies like Toyota, like Intel, like Microsoft, that are working on defining principles and standards of smart contracts for Ethereum. And this is like, it's getting bigger with each month. The price will be getting higher. And if you, for example, if you're afraid that Bitcoin is overhyped, overpumped with some testers, or there is just too much expectations, and that will never get delivered, so to say, that no one will deliver for such high expectations, because everyone's expecting Bitcoin price to be 100 grand in the future. If it doesn't happen, the panic will cause the market to maybe collapse. You'll see a lot of ICOs coming out. You'll see a lot of ICOs dying out. You'll see a lot of tokens. I mean, you've probably seen that there is over 1,300 cryptocurrencies listed to coin market cap alone. And there is over 900 cryptocurrencies with capitalization over 10 grand, which is not a lot, but well, it's still something that more than nothing. And I think we're just if you try to look a more perspective-wise approach to looking at Bitcoin price and how it's growing, in 2000, when the Bitcoin price was less than $1 and it went to $10, everyone called it a bubble. Then it went to $100. Just imagine the graph without what you have now, but just these stats when it was like less than $1, less than $1, or $10. It's like 100 times increase. It's a bubble. Well, I've personally seen Bitcoin that being called a bubble when it was less than 1,000, less than 2,000, less than 5,000, less than 10,000. Now it's 20,000, and people are still saying that it's a bubble. It will be test 100 grand, it will still be called a bubble. But still, we have Ethereum here, which is not just a monetary deposition, not a value storage, but rather a technology, rather than it's an infrastructure like Myota. You might also heard of them. It's IOTA.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
They're also creating the infrastructure for smart devices. So I personally expect, with more regulations coming to the market, the projects that are meant to just create value out of thin air for the only purpose of creating value, they will disappear. But technology projects like Ethereum or IOTA or EOS or BitShares, they will be bringing the money to the table. They will be the new market leaders, the shapers of the crypto economy of the future.
No, yeah, I definitely agree with that. It needs to be backed by something, not just speculation or just people pumping money into it. Like if it has like a technology associated with it and it's an awesome or really useful technology, then I think that coin is going to do a lot better than some other random thing that somebody just had an idea to do something. But I think that was it. I mean, thank you so much, Edgar. Like this was really awesome. It's cool to have like a like a face to like you know what I mean, like you go to Twitter, I mean you don't know who you're talking to, or Facebook or whatever, but this is awesome that you were able to do this for me and spend like 45 minutes of your day. I mean, I'm getting my day started now, you're probably end of day of work there, but yeah,
it was 5 p.m. now.
5 p.m. yeah, it's about 9:47 in the morning. What
you are an early bird.
Yeah, I try to be, but it's hard sometimes.
Right, thanks for having me today.
Yeah.
If that's it, make sure if you have other questions, you can send it over to me by email or by Skype. I'm always there to answer. Okay. Hope that we will talk again maybe next year. There will be new things happening in the market, so just make sure to invite me to have a chat.
Yeah, of course. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you too.
All right, see you.
Bye. Take care.